Good evening. It's very hot today. So tonight, every Thursday we do sitting practice. And before we do sitting practice, we need to shape our mind. And what that means, we need to shape our mind to come out of self-centered mind, ego mind, that one we cherish so much all the time. We cherish it too much, therefore we got a lot of problem. And it's time to, we need to try, how about not cherishing oneself too much? And how about cherishing others? You should experience that. I would say you should make an experiment. Do it for a week. Your partner more important. Practice with your partner. Practice with your companion. Practice with your family, your friends. Treat them more with love and particularly patience. Particularly patience. And see how much it changes your life. And how many things before which were so much problematic, perhaps you find a new way. That you have been constantly facing a wall, a block. That block was not really there. The block was your own mind. You made that block in your own mind. And actually, our whole life problem is the block we made in our own mind. No one is there doing anything to you. In fact, all others are great inspiration, including the people who challenge you, including the people who give you trouble. According to Mahayana teaching, it says that your enemy is the greatest teacher who will teach you patience. Because no one else is going to do that to you. Our loved ones will give you more attachment, and in a strange way, sometimes more makes you develop more impatience. Because anyone you think is trying to harm your family or friends, you will go and fight for them, against anyone against them. So what happens on the long run? You become victim to aggression, victim to intolerance, victim to impatience. You're the loser, nobody else loses. And then we blame the whole world. Oh, it was their fault, her fault, his fault. If we have no fault at all, if we have no afflictive emotion at all, if we have no neurosis at all, where would all these challenges will come from then? No matter who is surrounding you, the whole world against you, would you throw aggression to them, or you will feel compassionate to them? According to the Shantideva's teaching, one of the greatest bodhisattva. Bodhisattva means who have given up self-cherishing, because he or she saw that self-cherishing makes no sense. And there are many reasons, you're not going to just get the whole thing in one lecture or one talk or one sitting practice. But you must really look at day after day. And then when we say day after day, then we lose our patience. Okay, I give up. So what I say, make an experiment for like a month. Or if month is too long, make it 2 weeks. If it's 2 weeks too long, then make it 1 week. If 1 week is too long, make it 1 day. Try to care for others, respect others, and just see. And you could start with 1 hour, even if 1 day is too long. But then if that is too long, 5 minutes. It's very hard to give up centered, even for 5 minutes actually. That will right onto the seed. It's become the center of your whole life, the sense of me. And and we will say, what's wrong with that? I should have good life, I should be happy, I should get everything, But the problem is, it brings all afflictive emotion. It brings all those things that you don't want. And supposing now we all have the same, we all same human being. Whether, one is born in Asia or America or Europe or Africa, it doesn't matter where we are born, we're all the same human being. Same emotions, same feelings, same pattern of thought, same, no difference. So if we ask the question to ourselves, of course we all know that none of us want any suffering. Not even for a moment. We all want happiness. Then the question comes, I want happiness, but why still suffering coming to me? Why is anxiety coming to me? Why depression coming to me? Why fear arising to me? We know that, we know the result, we know the experience of that. But did we ever ask what originates, how that happens? So supposing, may I ask you, and I want you to raise hand, all our suffering or anxiety, whatever, is it coming out of afflictive emotion, neurosis? Is that the main cause? Who thinks if that's the main cause, please raise your hand. If your aggression, afflictive emotion, anger, jealousy, are they the cause of your suffering? It is. What else is there? So thank you for recognizing that. Jim, there's some echo. Can you? But normally we tend to blame others. And blaming others and it's like a thief. If a thief comes, things got stolen. As long as you don't recognize the thief, things keep going on and on. You will keep losing again and again. Then once you put CCTV and all kinds of new things, and the next time it's caught up in the picture, who came to steal. Then same thing, if we can know afflictive emotion, which is connected, the core of afflictive emotion comes from the self-centeredness. If that is the cause, then that is the real culprit. That is your real enemy, not others. Your confused mind is your real enemy. Because that mind, that afflictive emotion, has only one role in your life, one role to play. It has no other role to play. And that role is to give you hard time all the time, give you hell of a time painful anxieties. It's its only role, there's no other role. But we cherish that. The problem is we don't see that. We cherish this very mind, these very mental thoughts, this emotion that brings us suffering. And then we blame others. You are the cause. This is the cause. It's like a child. If you tell the child, look at the moon, the parents would raise their fingers. Look at the moon. The child, instead of looking at the moon, will look at the finger. It's like that. We miss seeing our own, Shanti Deva, the great Buddhist, he said, even one wish for happiness, one destroy one's own happiness, he said. Because we get sucked into that afflictive emotion neurosis. No one is doing that. There's no, no like a demon or Satan with a horn. If you see something, you can shut the door, or you can buy a $5,000 worth of vault and lock it and you'll be safe. Nothing. Your own mind, which just comes with you all the time, that is your real enemy. That's what first you need to work with that. So the reason I'm saying this, when we do sitting practice of meditation, sitting practice of meditation requires an open mind. Open mind means not self-centered mind. And in fact, it says, first of all, generate compassion when you do sitting practice. Because unless your mind is not open, you're not going to experience your deeper awareness. Because it gets obscured by afflictive emotion. So therefore, generating compassion, you create the proper condition in your mind for your mind to open up, your heart to open up. Without creating that compassionate awareness, your heart will not open up because you are on a grosser level or subconscious level. You are still holding on to yourself. And that's fear, actually, if you see deep inside. We only know fear. Seems we only know fear, seems we only know the friends of fear, which are afflictive emotion. And that's the life we are living day to day. So wherever you go, like the shadow, your pain and confusion follows you. Whatever you do, whatever you relate to, that mind comes. And what is that? Aggression. You need to do something. Otherwise, this problem will not end. As I said, there are three ways how we see other people. I mean, just look at our neurosis. It is said that if it's higher than you, if you meet someone who is in status or physical or wealth or power, whatever, if someone has more than you, you are jealous. It doesn't have to be, it can be anyone. If it's equal to you, there's competitiveness. Even your own brothers, sisters. Let's not talk about outside people. Even your own brother, sister, your friend, even your loved ones, at some point there's competitiveness. There is something uncomfortable inside. Your mind can't take it. See how weak, dangerous situation in our mind. Then if it's someone lower than you, you look down at them. Typical, all 99% of the people mindset is like that. Now, if that is the case, where can you gain happiness? Where would your happiness come? Let's not talk enlightenment and liberation from all dualistic thoughts. Even conventional happiness, five sensorial happiness, we will not achieve that. Just partially. In fact, we never experience anything complete. Do you ever think you got something complete experience? Doubt it. All a half-baked bread style. So when you eat a lot of half-baked bread, a lot of diarrhea. So our life is like a lot of diarrhea experience. We never really allow ourselves to experience anything complete because the ingredient was never complete. So we have to learn now, first of all, how to open our hearts. And for that, generating compassion is the most important. And further in the Mahayana teaching, the Bodhisattva path, it teaches us that your day-to-day life situation, happiness, sensorial happiness. Most people live in sensorial happiness. Nobody goes beyond that. There's very few people who look deeper beyond sensorial happiness. Most people either in the beauty in the eyes, music in the ears, nice smell in your nose, a taste in the tongue, a feeling in the body, and some joy. That's it. It's just stop there. And then you expect that sensorial phenomena, that condition, whatever that is, beauty, sound, smell, whatever, to give you everlasting happiness. It cannot. Have some compassion to sensorial pleasure too. It is made of condition. It's not made of unconditioned. Any condition means impermanence, change. There's no condition which is made unchanged. Impermanence. Nature of all condition is impermanence. The 4 pillars of Buddhist teaching, it says, all conditioned phenomena is impermanence. They change by nature. So if it's really changed by nature, how can it not change? And we can't take it when things change in our life. You feel the universe has slapped you now. I invested my time. I invested my love. You know, I did this for you. I did that. Now you're changing your mind. How come? And there's pain. We couldn't accept the pain. So it is important to understand the nature of all conditioned phenomena is impermanence. And the second pillar of Dharma is called all afflictive emotion is zakpa, means falling down. Afflictive emotion means it will always fall down, gives you the anxiety and suffering. Because its nature is afflictive emotion. We call afflictive emotion. That's what produces the suffering and confusion in mind. And the third pillar is called the nature of all phenomena is devoid of any inherent independent state. That is teaching about the nature of interdependence. And then if you realize the nature of interdependence, absence of any self, you become free from ego. It doesn't mean when you say free from ego, this house is not going to disappear or the world is not going to disappear. But there's an absence of the confusion, ignorant, and the absence of the notion of everything so real. And when you're able to get free from the notion of everything so real and it's open your heart, then you see the beauty at that time. You see possibilities of liberation, possibilities of enlightenment, possibility of love. True possibility can only come into your life when you see reality. While afflictive emotions and ignorance, you don't see reality. You're always like half here, constantly moving and confused, moving. You just wish for the best. That's how you're walking in the universe, just wish for the best. You cannot live like that all the time. It will be a lot of, it's like you are slipping all the time and you're breaking your legs and breaking your hands and constantly something happening to you. That's the kind of life it's going to be. So, so we need to have the awareness of compassion. Very, very important for our, let's not talk long-term liberation and enlargement. Even temporal happiness depends on our good heart. Good heart is very important. In the Bodhisattva Yana teaching, it explained, your sensorial temporal happiness comes from the affection of other people, isn't it? Whether someone gives you food, someone gives you clothes, your parents, raise you, give you food, clothes, it's come from their love and affection. Same thing for a grown-up person, all our happiness, whether we go and have a lunch or tea or take a walk or do a hiking, comes from the affection of other people. And for other people they also need that, openness and love from your side. If your mind is shut and you're so self-centered and so egoistic, they can't take it. Everything is shut in your life. You're not going to receive the sensorial happiness in your life. So let's not even talk human beings. Even among animals, whoever has got more caring and love and compassion, others animals are much happier to live among them. And whoever is most self-centered, other dogs and animals don't want to live among them. So it's very important. I think we should try to shed the very root of neurosis and afflictive emotion. Have you built your heart a little bit more? Like myself, I want happiness, others also want happiness. I don't want suffering, others don't want suffering. If you can keep that in mind, I think we will have a big transformation in our life. I think it's important to feel other people, other beings, not just humans, but including animals, creatures, because they all have as long as there's a consciousness, as long as there's a sentient, everyone has the same wish for happiness and wish not to get caught up in suffering. It's same, 100% same. It doesn't say, oh, you are more scholar, you are smarter, you deserve more happiness, and I'm a little bit stupid, so I deserve less happiness. No one say. Everyone has the 100% same hope and same aspiration to be happy and to be free. So how we gain happiness, how we become free, that is what truly the compassion and awareness that we need to develop. And there are many methods, such as the practice of Tonglen. It's a good practice to do to open your heart. Sitting practice of meditation is very, very good. If you can do this daily, it will change your life without any question. Make you stronger, make you happier, make you gentle, and finally, basically, makes you happier and healthier. And we can say finally enlightenment, a liberation from all afflictive emotion and all neurosis. Is that possible? It is possible. And what you need to do, you need to look into your mind. That's the commitment you need to make to yourself. You need to work with yourself. When we do sitting practice, I think let's do a Tonglen meditation today. I thought it'll be good. Tonglen means taking and sending. We always think of ourselves, I want to take good. I want just oneself all the time, good. Bad, throw it away, That's been a problem. That kind of mindset has been a problem. So today, let's think Think of your mother and your father. Start with that. Think how much your mother and your father has given you affection and love. And it's true. They went through tremendous, all kinds of situations, a lot of pain for you in your life. Your mother holds you in a womb for 9 months. A lot of pain, heat, cold, all kinds of situations she went through for you. When you're born, she hardly have any sleep for a number of years. Her eyes are red, always thinking of you. If she hears you cry, she will jump from the bed and there be for you. So many things like that. One's mother has been so kind. For many, many years, even when you are grown up, let's say your mother is like 90 years and you are like 60 today, for you still like she's the child. Always caring for you. Doesn't matter how old or how young. So much love, so much affection. So what did you do to your parents? You are reciprocate. How do you say reciprocate? You know, how do you reciprocate your parents? We say, oh, I survived my mother's for 2 days. That's pretty neurotic, I think, to say that. Really, it's a very shameful thing to say in some way. Very sad thing to say. What she went through for day and night for years and years, we can't even have patience to be around them for like 2 days or 3 days or 1 week. And we complain and we are harsh, we judge them. Children go to visit their parents maybe like once a year. Nobody cares for them. It's not a good thing to do. It's very sad, and what will happen, that ramification of that cause and effect, we live in a world of cause and effect. Nothing is incident. Nothing happens without cause. If we try to treat our parents in that way, show lack of respect and love and affection, your own children will later treat you the same way. It comes back, it will come back on you. You really have to learn to do the right thing for them. Be there for them. You know, people have jobs. I know, you don't have time to be there all the time, but maybe it's a good idea to call them sometimes. It's easy. We spend so much time on the internet. We can definitely make a call to our parents, just check how they're doing. And just even one call can make their mind happy. That's a merit. That's a great good karma. As a result, you will feel happier, and then later you will pass that to your children, where they can also feel happier in their life. Instead of totally ignoring, rejecting, pay no attention, and blame them. Of course, your parents are not enlightened beings, so they have their own problems. But for you, what your parents did is unbelievable. There's no one in this world who have done what your parents done to you. So we must remember that. I think even you have difficulties, today you are here strong as a human being in this amazing body, human body, endowed with intelligence. It's due to them, no matter how stupid or how bad they have been, but here still you are. So you have to forgive certain things. Nobody's perfect. We blame them, but perhaps they also think how much you have ignored them for so many years. I think we have to be fair. We can't be unfair. We have to be, fair. The word fair. In that way, we can purify all the defilements, all obscurations, all the things which makes gap between ourselves and parents. And when there's a gap between ourselves and parents, you will have a gap with every being on this world. because you will never know how to trust. It reaches far more than just, you start with your parents, but it also reaches, you can never trust even your companion at some point, your loved ones, your partners. There will always be something there. So it's important to really let go. Forgiveness is so powerful. Why you want to live in a small world, narrow world of grudge? What good will that do? You need to let go. There's a time to let go. Let's say there's a time to get angry and there's a time to let go. But if you just hold the anger all the time and never let go, that's going to be a big problem. What good that will do to you, just making the anger is the most supreme into your life and don't know how to let go. There's a time. Yes, situation happened. You may feel hurt. You may feel this, but there's a time to let go then. If you don't know how to let go, there's a saying, a Tibetan proverb. If someone did something wrong and someone doesn't say sorry, then it's the problem of the other person. But if someone say, I'm very sorry, please forgive me, and if you don't forgive, that is your problem then. There's time to move. We have to move forward. We can't be a lump like a tumor of neurosis. We have to purify that in order to have a healthy and happy life. And then we are seeking far deeper how we can free ourselves and liberate. And that would take further more deeper the awareness of compassion. So compassion is really very important. For your own happiness, you need compassion. For others, you need compassion. It is said the mind of compassion is like escort. If you're going through like a dangerous zone where bandits, robbers, you need protection of bodyguards, a military or police. Compassion is like that. Whoever has compassion, no neurosis can hurt them, can get into them. It's like the biggest protection. Mind of compassion is like the biggest friend. Whoever has compassion, all people would like to be around that person. But nobody wants to be around a self-centered, egoistic person. So compassion mind is like a friend. Compassion mind is like an escort. So many benefits and so many problems with uncompassionate mind. So, we are human beings. We have this intelligence. And we need to use this. Otherwise, your intelligence becomes dormant and useless. If you don't use your body, we get sick. You don't use your mind, just remain in that old neurotic mind pattern, you become stupid and ignorant. And you cannot function in life because you're ignorant. You don't know how to deal with situation. You just hold a grudge, anger, neurosis, and that's not the life you want to be. You are more. You have a basic goodness in your mind. You are not inherently bad. You're inherently is like enlightened nature, because you can see that, you can see neurosis. And you can also, not only you can see neurosis, but you can free neurosis, you can cut that neurosis through. In the past, I used to mention the teaching of interdependence, how thoughts and emotion arises. We naturally had a sense of feeling. Thoughts and emotions are independent. Thoughts and emotions are like inherent. They're not inherent. They don't even have one ownership of 1 cent land, for example. They don't own anything. They don't own you at all. But they seem to own you completely. But that's not it is when you really look. And I use so many times, so many examples. How do you look, how does the emotion arises? Of all the emotions, anger is the most destructive emotion. So how does the anger rise? We say, oh, that person is so angry. He's so bad. She's so bad. And it's almost like we identify the person as like an inherent anger. A person who is like raging fire, like anger. That's what it is. But that's not how that anger built up. When you look in your own mind, supposing you were born, your so-called enemy together, but when you are born out of your mother's womb, you both are in the same place, you will not have anger. You probably, like to play toys. Then only when you went to school, then things happen and gradually you become a grown-up person, and then, with this, due to this cause, due to that cause, whatever the causes are, so many causes, finally you build up some resentment and then frustration. When things didn't go your way, then frustration. And then later, something you really didn't like the way things are going, and then anger. The frustration began transform into anger. So it requires subject, it requires object, it requires many phenomena, many situations for the anger to manifest. Was there inherent anger? If there is an inherent anger, that person should always be anger, eternity, nothing else. There's no such thing like that. And even that person is very angry, at some point says sorry to you, then you mend things up, then you see a dissolve of that anger. So anger and any emotions are not inherent. They are all interdependent. And when you see the absence of any inherent thing, that's what you will see in meditation practice. When you develop a lot of practice, all those confusions become free. Meditation doesn't mean you tranquilize your mind, like you put some injection and you are buzz out for some time, or you take some, Benadryl. Before Claritin, I have a lot of sinus, so I took Benadryl. When I take it, feels very blissful, I thought, this is interesting experience. And sleepy. And one time I was driving in California, I stop on the red light, and I fall asleep. Good thing my foot was on the brake. When I woke up, I saw all the lines of car behind me. I thought people were patient, So, it's not like, meditation is not like a tranquilizer, that we think, okay, it will take me to a state. That is very simple. If our approach to meditation is like tranquilizer, we are wrong. Approach to meditation is awakening, free from the root cause of neurosis, and how we can see thoughts and emotions are like a wave. And you're taught in meditation how to deal with your thoughts and how to deal with your emotions. Such as, thoughts will arise when you do meditation. It's not that you sit and suddenly the thought stops. If the thought stops, it's a big problem actually. And anyone try to stop the thoughts is also not wise. If you run after the thoughts, that is even worse. So you can't run after the thoughts, you can't stop the thoughts. You have to learn to be awake and not get sucked into it. At the same time, you allow it to free itself. That comes from a lot of experience. You have to sit and sit and sit every day. Then it has to come, it's your mind. Distraction is not inherent in your mind. Ignorance is not inherent in your mind. So naturally, inherent in your mind is awakening, enlightened mind, that you can purify and you can transcend from that. So now how do you do meditation then? In the practice of meditation, you have to sit properly. Sitting will bring 50% of meditation, how you sit. Supposing you're sitting, lying like this in the chair, and so you fall asleep. No meditation. You're dreaming and snoring. That's your meditation. So you have to sit in the right posture. If you can sit like on the zafutan in your home, your butt should be slightly higher, like we have that, Or you sit on the chair with the straight back. So body should be like this straight, but not uptight, totally relaxed. And the chin, you should not look up or down like this, straight, slightly, slightly like that. And your eyes looking now, bringing it slightly down, almost like touching the tip of your nose, not penetrating, almost look like. There's a difference between looking at it and almost look like. I said almost look like touching the tip of your nose, and then maybe like 1 or 2 meters in front of you, your eyes, your eyes will see things, your eyes should relax there. So open your eyes, don't close your eyes. Closing eyes look, for beginners, feel like more protected because you're closing your senses from the rest of the world. But it's not good on the long run. It's not going to make you more awake. It will make you, you're running away from reality, so to speak. You're escaping this situation. You've got to be with the natural world. You can't run away from that, So therefore, then, once your eyes is relaxed, now your mind, you should say, when you sit on this zafu means that sitting is called, I think, Japanese words, zafutan. You should say, on this zafutan is my body. In my body is my mind. And now mind relax, like you drop your mind. Not holding it, not running up, just like drop it and you're right there at the present moment, here and now, like drop it. And then when you drop it, you feel openness. But then, your thoughts begin to come up. Whatever the thought is, past thoughts, or or some future thoughts, what you want to do tomorrow or what you want to do tonight. So that thoughts, when that thought come, you don't have to run after the thoughts. You need to recognize the thought. You should say, oh, this is the conceptual thought. And then the other thing, you don't make preferential thoughts. Oh, good thoughts I keep, bad thoughts I reject. You do that, then your mind will always conflict. There's a saying, if there's a hope, there's a fear. Hope and fear goes together. If there's a fear, there's a hope. If there's a hope, there's a fear. And both will lead you to neurosis. So you need to see all thoughts are same, almost like you treat them same in meditation. I'm not saying in your post-meditation, you need the discriminative awareness. It's not like you're driving suddenly, oh, the green light, red light, they are the same, and you drive, and I think that you will get a big ticket. So you need the discriminative awareness in post-meditation. While in meditation, when you're doing, all thoughts, no preferential, all are same. It's like the waves of the ocean. Whether it comes from the right or left, they're all waves. No matter how high or how middle or how low, they're simply the waves of the ocean. It comes, it dissolves back into the ocean. You don't have to do anything, in fact. It arises, it will dissolve by itself. Our usual way is to react with every thought. Oh, this thought come, this is past thought, this is future thought, this is I should do that. So you're never there in your mind and body. You're always out of yourself, constantly. So now you need to learn how to be yourself. See the thoughts are just like expression of your mind. And they may come And you have to learn not to struggle with the thoughts. We always struggle. So how do you find the pristine awareness in your mind? Do you by sorting out thoughts? Oh, this thought is good, this thought is bad, I don't need this, throw this away, keep this, throw this away, keep this. This is what we've been doing all the time. We try to bring in so many, throw out so much, then constantly that pattern keeps moving with hope and fear. So now, there's a saying, if you're walking on the beach, there's a sandy beach, and there's water on the beach. If the water is muddy, if you stir the mud, it will get more muddier. If you let the mud be, you don't do anything, all the mud will settle down and the water will get clear, and you can see the clear water, pebbles, stone, fish, everything you can see clear. Same thing with the mind. When you let the mind relax, rest in its own state, then the mind will get clear and free of all neurosis and afflictive emotion. Our way of usually trying to find happiness is stirring up the mind, rejecting, accepting, rejecting, accepting. So don't do that in practice meditation. Learn how to sit, and all thoughts, no matter what they are, even you feel like you want to love the whole universe and hug the whole universe, no big deal. And you want to kill the whole world, again, no big deal. They are both equal to be treated in meditation. Whether it's a killing thought or whether it's a compassionate thought, they're just both thought. If you get caught, you'll be caught by both of them. There's a saying, if you get bitten by the white dog and bitten by a red dog, the injury is the same. There's no difference in injury. Or you're chained by a gold chain, or you're chained by iron chain, you are chained. There's no difference. So therefore, you have to, in sitting practice, method is focus to your breath. So when you breathe out, your mind is with the breath. When you breathe in, your awareness is with the breath. That's it, very simple. Just with the breath. So when you get distracted, of course some thoughts will come, then the breathing will bring you back, the mindfulness. Breathing plays the role of mindfulness because you will feel the breath. Oh, this thought, again you come back. And then when you keep doing, after some time, over the days, weeks, months, then you can see your mind getting clear and not get affected. Things which makes you affected before, now you don't get affected. You are less neurotic already, more compassionate, more spacious, more clarity, more artistic, more skillful and more way of finding liberation from your thoughts. So lots of benefit through the sitting practice. Okay, so let's do a sitting practice now. So everyone sit, straight, relax. And then your breathing should be the focus. Be with the breath. When you breathe out, when you breathe in, you're just with the breath. And any thoughts, any kind of thoughts, are all treated equally. They're just merely a thought. Don't try to suppress your thought or don't run after the thoughts. Just be with the breath. legs. Yeah. In meditation, there are two faults and we need to clear the faults, the experience. One is too many thoughts, and one is drowsiness. When that arises, when too many thought arises, it says at the beginning, it's like a waterfall. You seem to have so many thoughts coming, and you begin to wonder how so many thoughts. I never used to have this kind of thoughts. Suddenly so many thoughts arising. Where did it come from? So it makes you surprises. It doesn't mean that you don't have thoughts, but now you're seeing how many thoughts are arising in your mind. It's nothing new. Now where to work with that? Too many excitement, too many thoughts. If you can't control, you can gaze slightly down. When you gaze down, the thought will settle down. And if it's still coming more, then you invite the thoughts, not like again entertaining the thoughts. Okay, come on then. You have, instead of suppressing thoughts, you allow the thoughts to come completely, and then it does nothing, it can't do anything. There's a sense of suppression that we feel uncomfortable. Then it plays that, the mind plays the game. So when you allow the thoughts to come more, okay, come on, then there is nothing it can do. So traditional, in the teaching explained, how do you tame a cow? You tame a cow like giving it a huge meadow, and the cow will walk and walk and walk, and finally it will get tired and flop down. Same thing, you allow the thoughts instead of suppressing the thoughts, and then it will dissolve. It's like the ocean waves. No matter how many meters it goes up, it has to come back to the ocean itself. There's no other place to go. So it will settle by itself. You have to be patient, You will learn this through your own experience. When you go back to your, every day when you sit, you will learn this. But you will never learn if you don't sit. When you sit, start with like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, every day, half an hour, 1 hour discipline. Then you will really begin to understand your mind. And then the other one is like drowsiness. You fall asleep. Then that's not good at all. You need to clear that. There are many ways to clear that. You can open the window, let a fresh air come, or wear lighter clothes, colors. Or then you can do like this. As I said, don't close your eyes when you sit. So when you're sitting, you feel drowsiness, you do your eyes like this, to the right, to the left. It will clear it right on the spot. That's an experience. You should gain that experience, All these things, you need your own experience. So these are the way how to clear the drowsiness. If the drowsiness allow, and you're sitting, and every day you feel drowsy, then it will make your mind stupid. Next lifetime you will be born into a groundhog. Or bear, like bear likes, stand up and not doing what they get for so long, the groundhog also. So it makes the mind hypnotized. You get stuck, absorbed into a state. You need to clear that. Clearing the mind is very important. So sometimes you can shake your body like this, and then it will clear away, and then again you sit. So those two things, too many thoughts or drowsiness, you need to clear that. Okay? So if you have any questions, we can have some question answer period here.
Thank you so much for coming, Rinpoche. Thank you. I was wondering if you might explain a little bit more about the Tonglen meditation, and then you've spoken for a couple of times about a specific Nongro to practice that, but I can't remember the
Specific
name.
what?
Nongro? Am I saying it? Yeah, sorry.
What? Ngundro, I
sorry.
see. We are supposed to do Tonglen. I've completely forgot. I'm sorry today. Well, Tonglen is basically the method of Tonglen is, as we were talking about parents, you start with someone you love. I know in America sometimes people have problem with their mother or father. They said, I can't do, exchanging with my mother or my father. Okay, it doesn't matter if there's a problem, you can do with someone you love. Okay. Important thing is mother is very powerful because the amount of what she went through for you is easy to exchange your happiness with her. So therefore we say mother and father are very important. Particularly mother, His Holiness Dalai Lama was saying that one time he was traveling and he was in the plane, and that at night the child was crying, and at the beginning the father was also attending. Then after some time the father falls asleep and the mother was whole night attending the child. In the morning she saw in the mother's eyes were red, while the father, wake up. Doesn't mean, father don't care. There's tremendous love. But mother is someone who goes through a lot. So therefore, so many Mahayana teachings explain about the kindness of the mother, how to pay back. In fact, it says that all being has amount of life incarnation that we have taken, that all being has been our parent at one time or another. And when they have been our parents, the kind of love they were given to us, like this lifetime mother. So whether one believes in all being is one's mother or not, all being as our parents or not, but it really will help if you can see every being as your parents. It will let you really heal many things and overcome a lot of your selfish ego and open your heart, and you will be you will find tremendous possibility to find liberation in all situations. You will find the way out of suffering. So there's a lot of benefit in doing this. So anyway, starting with our present life, father and mother. So when you do Tonglen, Tong means to give, Len means to take, basically, Tibetan word. Tong means to give, Len means to take. So what you give is all your happiness, your merit, your whatever good you have. When you breathe out, it goes into like a white nectar flow and goes to them. You give all your good. Then Len, now mistake. You take all, you think of, before that you think of your mother, what she's been for you. And then naturally now your mother who is right now suffering physically or mental problem or physical problem, whatever she has, then you try to share that. You try to take that pain away from her. And you breathe in. When you breathe in, you breathe that into like a dark charcoal color and into yourself. Then we say, oh, I have so much problem. If I take others' problem, I will get into more problem. You see, this is again, the ego comes right there. this is the mindset which makes us so small and narrow. And we don't realize. This is how powerful deceptive mind is. This is how powerful neurotic mind is. Neurosis and ignorance doesn't mean you don't know nothing. It's a misconstrued intelligence. It is intelligent, but it takes you in the wrong place. It deceives you. It's that smart. It has got to be smart. Otherwise, it can't lead you to that state. It doesn't mean nothingness, If it's nothingness, okay. But it's very sneaky, sort of deceptive in its way of thinking. And basically puts you again, in a very weak mind all the time. So therefore, here you should be open. And so when you think of your mother, who's been so kind to you all this, when you're birth and then when you're growing up, then when today she's suffering, at least let me take some. So then you do every day like 10, 15 minutes, your father and your mother and your loved ones. Then slowly your hearts begin to open up. When you see others suffering, you feel for them. And then your hearts begin to gradually opens up to all being. That's how you transform. All your neuroses begin to melt down. Your inner, inherent positive qualities, wisdom, compassion begin to grow. And then you find way out of suffering and out of all deceptions. And that's possible, you can find enlightenment. So that's how, step by step by step, every day you do Tonglen practice, maybe 10 minutes. Very powerful. Your whole day when you go to work, your colleagues, your friends, whatever your career is, you will see a change. Those who are healing, more powerful. Those who are studying, more clear, more concentration, more loving, more compassion, more healing. Tremendous benefit in Tonglen. So we need to change with meditation and Tonglen. Integrate that. It's very powerful. Yes.
I talk really fast. We have people on the live stream. So when you do Tonglen, when you're imagining taking in someone else's pain, are you imagining that you're taking in their pain and you're holding it, or is it more of you're taking it and then you're transforming it and transmuting it into love and sending it back to them?
Good question. So once you take it, so let's say you're doing 5 minutes of Tonglen practice. So then when the 5 minutes ends, so then you sit now, relax. Now you don't have no concept about either taking, either sending. You just remain in natural meditation. Just what we did, meditation. Then you want to rest your mind in ease, totally let go. Don't even think, oh, now I should flush it out. Then again your ego is playing the game. You see? No, you don't want to do that. You just want to naturally remain in meditation, folk. Just like that. Mind will be clear. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, thank you for the teaching. My question comes back around to something you mentioned earlier about the third pillar of Dharma being there's no inner essence or intrinsic essence to anything, and this notion of emptiness. And I was curious to hear more about how to acknowledge that all sentient beings might be aspiring towards this happiness that we look for in our own lives. And yet, as humans, how can we not confuse this impulse that is shared by all sentient beings with our tendency to seek pleasure and avert pain? How can we avoid that confusion?
There's two kinds of confusion, normally. One is not knowing conventional reality. Reality means we all seek for happiness, but so many times we end up with suffering. So we miss seeing the very causes which brings happiness. So it's called ignorance in cause and effect. And then the other is ignorance in reality, essence of reality. What is the reality? So there's a convention. So therefore, in Buddhism, it explained two divisions. One is called conventional reality, and one is called absolute reality. And also one is called conventional compassion, and one is called absolute compassion. So for example, the question, again it will come what you ask. For example, when we're doing Tonglen practice, that is conventional compassion, conventional truth, conventional reality. But then, what do we do after we finish Tonglen? Should we get rid of that or should we keep it? Then, at that time, there's nothing to keep because there's no inherent, there's every phenomena in essence is devoid of its existence. For example, there is the theory today, that quantum physics theory is coming to understand that. Most of the science is study on the objective. It's no study on the subjective. Subjective is just beginning today. Scientists are beginning to look subjective nature. But so far, the science is about objective nature, about the elements, about the atoms, about the, when we say atom, that's how everything is atom. But when there is an atom, we have a notion that atom means there's some existence. And there is. Without atom, your body is constitution of billions of atoms. But let's look at the fundamental atom. Things have to start. It's like if there is no 1 cent, then if it's 99 cents, it doesn't make $1. In order to make $1, you need to add 1 more cent, and then it's become $1. So to have this whole constitution, the structure of the body, for example, there's so many atoms. But when we look at, in our mind, theoretically when we look, in practically that's how it developed. But theoretically, when we see the first atom means, if there is an atom, does it have a direction or it has no direction? Atom has direction. There's central part, there's eastern part, east, west, south, north, up, down, then south, west, east, west, 10 direction. Any atom has 10 direction. What does that tell? Is it an independent atom or it is a dependent atom? If there is an atom, when we study the nature of the atom, is fundamentally, to begin with, is a relative reality. It's not absolute. There's no inherent atom. There is an atom, is depend. East, we call it because there's a southern part. We call it north because there's a western part. So each is dependent on each other. Based on that we label, atom, or based on that we call south, based on that we call east, based on that we call north, based on that we call up, there's down, center, all those things. But is there something east by itself? There's no such thing as east by itself. For example, we call it left because there's a right. If right has never been there, where would the left be? And if the left hasn't been there, where would the right be? These are all interdependent. So in the Buddhist teaching, it explained 2 kinds of interdependent. One is the cause and effect interdependent, and then it gets really subtle. When the interdependent in its fundamental level, then it's called mere label. If because of the right, you call it left. Because of left. So all phenomena is simply labeled. There is no inherent existence inherently by itself that which can independently stand. So look at your emotion. There's no such thing as real anger. Anger is also byproduct of subjective, objective, due to many factors, an emotion arises which is called anger. Love, attachment, desire, jealousy, all our phenomenal experience, which is impure phenomena, impure. So now the thing is, one thing very interesting, where we are today. Though in essence, in the esoteric Buddhist teaching, the passions, the essence of passion is wisdom, he says. The essence of passion. This is very interesting. Because when you look at essence, it's devoid of any inherent existence, right? In all phenomena you can see. It's like a pure state. But then it's called, the neuroses are called temporal. Neuroses are not absolute. Because when you see neurosis will fall apart. It cannot stand the ground in the presence of reality, primordial reality. Neurosis will fall apart moment the wisdom comes, which is primordial reality. So when you see that neuroses are temporal, definitely, it's not everlasting, it's not inherent. We are going through that and experience at the moment, but they're not inherent quality of our mind, neuroses are. They are like a dream state. They're like, they're called definitely temporal, because if it's not temporal, if it's eternity, if it's so real, then it should last forever and ever, and you can never get rid of anger. The fact that the anger can be removed, right? When you see that, when you have the clarity, wisdom, you can remove the anger. But then there leaves something else. You can never remove the expression of your mind. It says there is the contradiction force for neurosis to be removed. Because moment the clear neurosis is a misconstrued intelligence. Moment the clear intelligence come, it will remove the neurosis. So neurosis is obstacle. So if we use the word obstacle, neurosis does the obstacle. The clear mind is the obstacle for neurosis. Clear intelligence, wisdom is the obstacle for neurosis. But there is nothing to remove the expression of the awareness itself. That's why mind has expression. There is no obstacle for the expression of the mind, but there is obstacle for the neurosis, afflictive emotion, there is obstacle. So now, when you free the mind, when you see the true clarity by removing, that's where there's, in the esoteric teaching of Buddhism, is called, the mind is three qualities: bliss, clarity, and emptiness. There's three qualities: bliss, joy. Bliss is where we feel joy. But then again, when you get attached to the bliss, when you get attached to your, any kind of joy, desire, whether that's sexual desire, or whether that's like, food desire, or clothing desire, any kind of, then it traps you, that desire. When the mind traps you, it creates a phenomena. It does have to create a phenomena, right? It has to create a phenomena. And that phenomena is called, predominant for human beings, is called the desirium. So for us, as a human being, the most powerful neurosis is desire, attachment in this phenomena. There's certain existence where desire is not the fundamental, though desire is there, but for them, clarity is more attached. But in all of them, as long moment attachment enters, then it's become a problematic. So therefore it is said, lesser the attachment, more open and more joy there will be. The more the attachment, you will get into a lot of seed of problems begin to happen there. So when you meditate, when you see your mind so open, then you see all kinds of other side of possibility. You've only seen the phenomena which is produced by impure phenomena. Now condition, okay, we are right now trapped in this phenomena. We are trapped. Our body is, conditioned body. It's vulnerable to sickness. It's vulnerable to, if there's a cut, you're vulnerable. It's vulnerable to pain, vulnerable to sickness, vulnerable to birth, vulnerable to the suffering of birth, the suffering of old age, the suffering of sickness, and the suffering of death. 4 major suffering every human being has to go through. Needless to say, so many other suffering which will come. But these are the 4. So we are trapped in this condition. But we can also sense that since this condition is caused, now everything has a cause. You can't say it just happened incidentally out of the blue sky. Nothing is like out of the blue sky. There has to be a cause. What is that cause? Is neurosis, fundamental mind confusion, and that is how it builds up this condition. Now naturally, when you look at your body, this is a gross element body right now. In the daytime, but at nighttime when you go to sleep, you have the same phenomena coming in your dream. You are seeing your friends, you are making love, you are killing someone, you're doing everything, whatever you're doing, hope, fear, and you have the 100% fear as well as 100% pleasure, the same during the daytime. The only thing is when you wake up, you say, oh, that night dream was not real, daytime is real. That's the only definition. But when you're dreaming, you don't say it's not real. So we are trapped. The mind is trapped. Its mind is projecting this. It's like a movie, It's a cosmic movie going on in our life. So we need to wake up from that. And that now we need to shed a lot of our condition, impure condition, that we have collected through our deeds. And what are the cause of those deeds? Root, main foundation, like a house, foundation is ignorance. Then on top of that we have attachment. Then we have anger. Then the rest of all, moment the mind get confused, then everything goes confused. It's like a chain reaction. Then we build up this phenomena, then this, then that. Even we're seeking pleasure, it's like, as I said, you never experience full. It's like a half-baked bread, Constantly, everything is like that. So a lot of confusion, a lot of things. Can we clear it? Yes, we can clear it. Can we, this is not called wisdom body. This is called the impure phenomena body, because it's subjected to old age, subjected to suffering, subjected to death, subjected to a lot of problems with this body. We all have. So, and what are the cause for this body to begin with? Same as what's the cause for your dream body? What's the cause of your dream? It's the same cause. One is gross, one is subtle. That's the only difference. It's habit. Habitual mind projecting in a gross way and in a subtle way. But then you can also sense the primordial, there is a primordial energy body, wisdom enlightened body. You can sense that there is something beyond this condition where you are trapped. Because when you look at this conditioned body, it doesn't have any inherent quality. It's not independent. No matter how angry, how neurotic it is, it has to fall apart when you see that. So it's interesting. Where we are is very interesting. So, but can we really get out of it? Yes. And what can make us get out of it? We need wisdom and we need compassion. That's the only mind which can handle all our problem. No other mind. All afflictive emotion cannot handle our life situation. Only wisdom and compassion can purify, can lead us to transcendence from this state. No other mind. Does it make sense?
A lot more questions, but that was satisfactory. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So let's do the world peace prayer. Barbara, give them one text. Okay. Please do, our mind is the one that we create this phenomena, including our world and people and our life situation. Please pray for world peace, from your heart. In the world in general and in this nation, may not even their names, disease, famine, war, and suffering be heard. May virtues, qualities, and merit and prosperity greatly increase, and may continuous good fortune and sublime well-being perfectly rise. In the world in general and in this nation, may not even the names, disease, famine, war, and suffering be heard. May virtues, qualities, and merit and prosperity greatly increase, and may continuous good fortune and sublime well-being perfectly rise. In the world in general and in this nation, may not even the names, disease, famine, war, and suffering be heard. May virtues, qualities, and merit and prosperity greatly increase, and may continuous good fortune and sublime well-being perfectly rise. By this merit, may all beings gain omniscience, thus defeat the neurosis, which are our enemies. From the turbulent wave of birth, old age, sickness, and death.
From the ocean of cyclic existence, may all beings be liberated.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Rinpoche. So a few announcements before we head out. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Jim. I see a lot of new faces here. So my name is Jim. I'm one of the directors here. And maybe all of you don't know some of the history, but this building, we've only been here for just over 4 years. And we first finished the upstairs, the shrine room, and then we recently finished the downstairs, which has a community room, which we use for meals, and we are planning on starting to do yoga and Tai Chi down there soon, which will be wonderful. And so we're a 100% volunteer organization. There's no paid staff. And I bring that up because that means we need everyone's help to keep the center open. And we're currently not meeting all of our operating expenses. So membership is a great way that you can help us support and keep the center open. And there's no minimum. You could be a member for $1 a month, and that will help in small ways. And there's also benefits to being a member is that any programming, when we have program costs, all members receive a discount for the programming, for the bookstore, and pretty much everything. So please consider becoming a member. And so what else do we do at the center here? So on Thursdays, when Rinpoche is here, he's always going to teach. He also has monasteries in India, and so he spends quite a bit of time in India. And when he's not here on Thursday nights, we always do meditation, and we'll watch one of his teachings. So we always record everything, and then we'll watch one of his teachings, and then one of the students will lead everybody in meditation. So even when Rinpoche is not here, it's a great time to come and sit together as a community. And I don't know if you guys can feel it, but when you meditate in this space, it is pretty incredible. I mean, sitting at home is always great too, but when you sit with a whole community, as well as the energy that's here, it's a really powerful way to spend at least one night a week spending it here. On Sundays, we're also open, so 10 a.m. until noon, you can come and do your own practice. So there's no guided meditation, but you can come and do sitting or whatever practices you want to do. And then a couple events coming up. So this coming weekend, so next Saturday and Sunday, so the 27th and 28th of July, Andrew Holacek is coming, and he's going to be teaching on the Bardo, which is the state between death and rebirth. And so it's a pretty cool 2 days to learn about that, and then how can we plan for that ourselves, as well as people in our lives that may be approaching that state. How do we help them? And then August 16th and 17th, so almost 1 month from today, one of Rinpoche's senior students, his name is Brendan Kennedy, he'll be coming in again. So he comes 2 or 3 times a year, and he does deep meditation retreats. And so we'll be doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday meditation retreats, and he gets right to the point of the issue, and it's a great opportunity to ask him questions about your own practice, about things that are working and what's not. And so please consider coming for that. And then last but not least is we do have an email list. So if you, right outside the shrine room door on the right-hand side is an email list. If you're not signed up there, it's a great chance. That's our main method for communicating with everybody. So please sign up there. And Rinpoche will be out of town next week. So please wish him good travels, and please return soon, Rinpoche.